First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us on the podcast. It's an honor to have
It's
you
a
on board.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Really.
So, ma'am, what are you nowadays? So, are you working from home or are you going to, the office?
Right, right now I'm working. Looking nice. Now I'm looking okay. I think, yeah. Right now I'm working from home this week, and maybe the next week if it's still in that terrible situation, because it looks like every second person I know is getting this COVID. So I said, oh, I better stay from home and work from home.
Yes, ma'am.
And like right through that the year, actually, we've been working from home, till this little break we had where we went out and we were so happy to be out. And then now back again, we go from working from home. But it'll be for a little while, I feel. That's all. And I'm quite used to it.
Yes, ma'am. It's quite, it's dangerous. Even I feel very, a bit skeptical watching some other person coughing or, sneezing.
Oh,
So,
yes. You have to be really, really, really careful. And
it's
like,
really terrifying.
yeah, even if a person like has a cold and they feel they don't have a cold, and then it goes suddenly blows up into a thing like this. We've had so many people around in our office who's got sick, and around us our friends and the others working, that it's really, I mean, it's as though it suddenly arrived, sort of a thing. It is scary. And so we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And like I always say, even before, when it first started, we were all very careful, like I used to, I even till now, of course, I take my turmeric and I take my amla kai and I take the ashwagandha, because that's supposed to be good. And then we have coconut oil, and then we have all the things, then yoga, and then exercise and breathing. That was all started. But I feel once the work started, again, everybody just maybe forgot about it for a little while. And also social distancing we used to follow, and the masks. And of course, now uh, these few months I've been seeing, because I think everybody got a little careless. But that was the thing. But I think we have to keep that up. We'll have to keep up looking after our immune system, exercising, breathing. This is something that's very, very important. And not worrying, not getting tense, not getting emotionally upset. I know it's really difficult to be like that, because, oh, your work and your thing. But there's only one thing I say. I mean, if you've got a life, you've got your work at any time. But what is the use? If you haven't got a life, then nothing is going to work. So just remain a little while at home, look after yourself, and just be thankful. And this COVID, really what it taught me was a lot of family time. That was a wonderful thing that we had. And of course, a lot of looking after ourselves, caring for ourselves, studying, education. There were so many kind of courses we could take, online, and which really helped a great deal. And keeping ourselves happy and emotional and laughing all the time. That was something that was there in this COVID time that taught us. And even till now, it is something that we'll have to really go back to and not get upset, because I think it's all going to work out well, and we have to take care. Like I always say, your health comes first.
True, ma'am.
That
Health,
is the
health
thing.
is health should always be the priority, and I'm quite awestruck because the introduction that you gave, it almost covered the first two questions that I was just about to
Oh,
ask you. I was just about to ask you that how the pandemic changed you and the scenario around you, and what
uh,
you really did embrace about it the most. So I guess the
yeah.
audience and we all got the answer what you have been doing. And
Yeah.
it was quite an interesting start. So I guess this interview will be a big blast for me. So, ma'am,
It,
coming on to the topic about your journey. So,
mm,
we all know you started your journey way back in the early 90s. So,
Yeah, yeah.
what were the few most difficult challenges that you faced while starting the venture?
Now, when I first started, of course, when I started the thing, my journey, first the one thing was the family and everything else. It was something that you do your college and they don't want you to go into a subject like hair and beauty, which everybody thought was something like a very whimsical kind of a thing. But I really thought, even at that time, I thought hair, beauty, and everything, it was it's a wonderful, huge subject. And I thought it was really fun. I mean, what could be better, I used to say, than seeing your creation of hair or your makeup or whatever, your skin, walking, on a live person. I think that is the best form of art. So that was how I started it. I took it as a form of art to start with. And from there, of course, I went into cosmetics, and cosmetics means it was aromatherapy, because my husband was in the army and we were posted in Wellington. And of course, when I used to treat the clients that used to come up, I used to, had to make my own kind of little creams for them. So it was very individualized. Like if you had to come, I'd give you something specially for your skin, maybe something for your beard, and I'll give you a kind of aroma that you like. So it was something, and that is how I got in with aromatherapy. And what happened, the people told me that, oh, it's not only my skin is looking better, but my cold has gone, or I'm feeling happier. Because aromatherapy is where you deal with the whole body, it's a very holistic form, and it deals with the body, mind, and spirit, and it comes from these essential oils. And these essential oils were something. And so that is how I went on and started my cosmetics with these essential oils. Of course, that was very difficult to start off with that, because for that we definitely needed the money for a factory. So I had started right there in a small way, and then from there it went on. When my husband left the army, that's the only time when I was able to start a factory. But in the meantime, I was teaching and I was making these things and I was studying, and I'd got 2 doctorates in aromatherapy. So that again was a whole lot for this. And and it was not very easy to get loans at that time, because you had to do something. It was not an easy thing. So we did put in our own money, got the factory going, started it off. And of course, when we were doing the factory, what was happening is, now these products were all with essential oils. Like I couldn't use any vegetable oil. I had to use vegetable oils. I couldn't use mineral oils. I couldn't use any other product. I had to use vegetable oils, vegetable waxes, emulsifiers. There couldn't be any chemical, because there used to be a chemical reaction. So what happened was, when I first started, I I never knew so much about the chemical reactions that used to take place with these oils and things. So I had to throw out tons and tons of product. It was like a big thing. But I knew, and then we hit on it, and it was really very, very natural, without the parabens, without the mineral oils, without all these other things that are there, the chemicals that are there, and natural aromas. We had the natural essential oils, we had the natural colors. So that was something that we had started way at that time. But these were little of the challenges and then marketing the product, that was the other challenge that we had, the marketing of the product, because that was something people didn't understand aromatherapy at that time. So we had to go in for all these exhibitions where we went in. And I'll never forget, when I first started and we had the salon. So I said, okay, we'll open the salon, aromatherapy salon opposite the Taj Palace. And so I said, oh, how are we to call it? So I said, aromatherapy bar, hair and beauty salon. And what happened? All the men started coming in. They thought it was a bar. So that was it. And I had to do a lot of education. So that is how educating, feeling, touching. So that is how I went on with the product. So these were the challenges that we faced at that time, but it was fantastic. And like I always say, you, I mean, if you have a passion for something, you want to go with it, you have a passion, these challenges really don't matter. In fact, they excite you more, they make you come to a conclusion, and you if you can't reach it on one way, you'll find another way. So this is what really happened with that, with this
Wow,
thing.
these are quite handful of challenges, ma'am, that you've all embraced. So one thing that you told, what is important is marketing the product, and with
Mm-hmm.
marketing comes the feedback of the people that are using the product. So
Yeah, yeah,
as you told that you started the journey from Wellington, but the core of my question lies is what were the challenges you faced while starting in India? Because in 90s, in early 2000s, people were not really into commercializing of these aromatherapies. They always see
yeah,
those things as dadi ka nuskhas and all.
yeah. So that was a thing that was there. But when we went into cosmetics, and of course, when you go into a cosmetic, you have to go into the packaging, you have to go into everything that goes. So it was treated like a normal product. It was treated like a product, Ayurvedic herbal product, and of course, it had the goodness of aromatherapy in it. That's how we went. So we went across doing it for dry skin, for oily skin. We went into the skin. So actually, I went into the marketing is through the beauty line, through the beauty salons. And that is how I marketed it everywhere. And it was, yes, aromatherapy is known as was folklore medicine, but it was not really. And aromatherapy is part of Ayurveda. In fact, if you look into and our aromatherapy, my aromatherapy is really part of the Ayurvedic aromatherapy. Like if you look into the Vedas, you'll find they were the books of the Vedas were called tantras, and comes into Rasayana Tantra, the Veda of rejuvenation. So that is where aromatherapy is, and that is from where I studied, and that is how it went. So it is really very Indian. In fact, in India, you will find they are using it all the time. If you like, jasmine is used for weddings. Now, why
Yes,
is it
yes.
used for wedding? Because it gives the person confidence. When you smell of jasmine gives confidence. When you go into a mandir, straight away you relax, and why you got the smell of sandalwood over there. So sandalwood helps you to relax. And it's been a traditional one used right through the ages and of course, I must say rose water, how did that come about? How did the rose water come about? Mumtaz Mahal for her wedding, Mumtaz, she, the fort was filled with water and rose petals were put on the fort. And because of the sun and the summer, you will find it, it started giving off the rose oil onto the on in the water. So so there was this beautiful smell. Can you just imagine the lovely
Wow.
smell that was all over? And it was really awesome. And it was this rose that was created, and that's how rose water came to be thing, and the rose essential oils. So, it happened like this, and people were using it all the time. But we took it and we put it in with the other cosmetics, but we had to do a lot of research and study how it goes, which oils would go with it, and that is how, and then market it. And again, you cannot sell this aromatherapy product in a plastic jar or a plastic bottle, because the plastic would absorb it, absorb the oil, so it doesn't go. So it has to be a thing. That's how our sustainable thing came into it. It had to be in a bottle that where it was, recyclable, and it wouldn't go in. Also, it was in glass bottles. The pure essential oil you will find is sold in a glass bottle, not in a white bottle, because the white bottle, the sun will spoil it. So it was sold in a darker bottle. So there was a whole lot of thing that went into it. Yeah.
Wow, a lot of science and technology going into the stuff. Uh, so, ma'am, my next question is, you just talked about how it was very difficult starting the venture. You were giving classes. It was not easy to get a loan. So, I want to know your views on time management and the the concept of work life and personal life balance.
Okay, now work life and personal life, it has to go together. I mean, you have to balance it, because if you give too much of life to your work and not enough life to your family, I mean, it's not going to work so well. So you have to. I was lucky. I took my family along with me on my work. So my husband joined me in my work.
Oh,
My
wow.
daughter is in my work. My grandson is in my work. So that was something that was really very nice. But I remember when I was first doing this and my grandson was small, I used to spend a lot of time. Like, I also used to spend time with my daughter. That is how she went in. When I used to be studying in America and others, I used to take her along with me, to the classes and other things, so that, she would be with me all the time. And also my grandson. I remember I used to see that I came back from work, sat with him, and I used to watch a movie with him. First we used to watch cartoons, and then after that we went on to watching movies. So I spent a lot of time, because I believe in one thing: you've got to have fun when you work. If you don't have fun and you take it like, oh, I have to do this after, it will not work. You have to have fun, and you'll find when you're happy, you're having fun, you're going to be a success in your work. That is definite. And that's what happened. I really took it along as part of it. Was when I started, it was a hobby, and I kept on taking it. And it, of course, it grew. So there was some, we started thinking, and at the same time, it was something that it was fun. So that was the thing.
So, ma'am, nowadays, I've been seeing that the youth, especially, is now going to, use these uh, aromatherapy products and Ayurveda and all of these things. So, but one thing I'm not able to understand is how is that, mental mindset shift has come from them. So, and what was the mindset back in the 90s and early 2000s, and what you see right now in the market?
Okay. Now, in the earlier mindset, also, it was, I mean, people, they did, right when I started, of course, they liked the cosmetic, and they went into like aromas and other things. But they slowly, as it went on, they went into more synthetic and that sort of a
Yes, yes,
thing. They were
yes.
not so, they were not so keen on, they were keen on the Western product, on the chemical product, on this. But what I have found now, and it had started to happen even before the COVID. The youngsters, especially, I think the young are bringing about this change. They wanting natural. They're looking for natural products. They're not only products, with everything, for food, for other things, for organic. And now with the COVID, it's just going completely back to nature and COVID and making your own products, sort of a thing, DIY products from the kitchen, cooking. I find a big shift. I found a really big shift in the youngsters, not just here, but I think all over the world, because I think they're just now fed up of all the chemical and all this other stuff. They want to go back to nature. And that is, I'm so glad this is happening, because not just, of course, because of my product, but because of the health. Because everyone now, the whole trend is wellness. It had started before COVID, but during the COVID, it had really become cemented. And now I think it's even more that everyone are into wellness. Wellness, whether it's exercise, whether it's eating properly, it's going into organic food, it's sustainability. They want to know something. The other thing I have found with the youngsters is they want to do something. Like, they want us to do something for people. They are not happy just getting it for themselves. They want to give. They want to give to those who can't afford. They want to give to people who are sick. So that is another wonderful thing I see in the younger group of people, which is really very good.
It's awesome, ma'am. So, the other day I was watching another interview of yours where you mentioned that you started this thing very early, like a hobby. You were, I guess,
Yeah,
12 or 13 when you were trying something on other people, and then you came to the realization that this is something that you want to pursue. So
yeah, yeah.
this is a bit of a personal question because realizing a thing that you want to pursue that young is very astounding. For example, right now I'm 22 and I don't know what I want to do in life. So how early you came to realization that this is really what you want to do in life?
Okay, about 13 or 14, I think. It must have been 14, 15, because, yeah, it was 13, not even 15. It was 13, 14. It was in college, not college also. It was in school where we were all in an assembly. I was very intrigued with people's hair and, their skin. And I used to tell them, use, at that time, I remember I was in a boarding and there was this Chandrika soap that was very much out. I used to tell them, use the Chandrika soap. It's very good for your skin and you won't get pimples. And you used to take this and that and wash your face. I used to give this little advice to everyone. Then there was, we had at the assembly, I was in this boarding and they said, who can cut hair? So I quickly put up my hand, though didn't know anything about cutting. And then they said, okay, well, I was wondering why. So she said, I want this girl's haircut. She's got such long hair and it doesn't work. She can't look after it. So we said, okay, let's take this girl. So she was a young girl. We took her. And there was this other friend of mine at the same time. So we took a big mug of water and a huge scissor, the cloth cutting scissor, because in the convent there was nothing else over there. And then we took and we put a cloth around her and then we wet the hair and then we cut. Of course, the first cut was really drastic. It went in like an angle, instead of going straight. But later on, we combed it, held it down, held the comb down, and then did a good cut for her. And after that, I was so excited that and she looked really so nice with that short hair. So I was really excited. And after that, I was really happy. I was called the official hairdresser of the boarding. I was
Wow.
very thrilled. And that's how we started doing this and learning. So I really started out my career with hair cutting, that sort of thing. Then went into beauty like I say, this is it's a huge, this thing, you can do so many things with beauty. Went in with hair, from hair went into beauty, from beauty went into spa, then makeup. Makeup is another very big thing. Then writing, you can write also. There's journalism. Then there's managing and of course you can be your own entrepreneur. Like I always say, this is one job. You can even start it in a room in your house and you don't need too much of money to start it. And then, of course, going into cosmetics, you can go into cosmetics, you can go into, so there is a big, wide field. And it's really, I think, one of the jobs of the skills of the future, which can, in India especially, the rural place, it can go because you don't need for the people to come out, work somewhere. They could work and they could really look after themselves. So this is what we've been doing, skilling people all over and teaching them how to be their own entrepreneurs. Also, Mehndi is another big art, and they can learn to do Mehndi and they can do it. So it's a really wide scope. Beauty is a beautiful, really beautiful profession, glamorous profession, and it's wonderful. And now, of course, I think it is growing and it is doing really very well.
Wow, wow, wow. So, a very, very nice experience that you shared with us, a very early experience. And also one thing, ma'am, that I have noticed, even with me and my peers around, that, there is so much of, mental health issues going right now. And,
Yeah.
as I talk to my father or my mother now, I'm very much open with them. They told me that it was not such a big deal back in the day. People used to be happy. I don't know, maybe their circle was small, but they tell me that their circle used to be happy, but now what they see in, especially youngsters, teenagers, is that they are going on a verge of breakdown. So what do you think might be the cause of it?
One of the things for the breakdown, of course, is there's too much of stress. This is what really I find. There's a lot of stress, and another thing is I really feel the family, the elders, like the parents, should spend more time with their children when they're growing up, because it's from 1 to 7 when you're really making, that child is really forming an idea, forming their whether they are scared or whether they're happy or they're afraid, from that time to that time. And that is the time parents are needed at home. And I think it is because of, the stress, the working, the environment, the economic situation, that one of the reasons that is happening. And the parents should, that's why I always say you should take your family along with you. I wouldn't like it that the family goes and the children are just there. I feel that, I really like these creches. And now that it's starting, the creches are there next to the work, where you can bring your children and you can also look after your children while you work. So this is something important. Family is an important thing. This is one. The other thing is stress. There is too much of stress that is there. And of course, so these are the two main things that I feel are because of all the breakdowns. And they need people to talk to, and talk to, where somebody doesn't tell them, I told you this was what is wrong. No, they just need someone where they can just talk and somebody can just listen to them. They just want to be listened to. I feel that is something else. And for that, we have in aromatherapy, it does help a person to help stress. Like one of the oils that really work with stress is lavender. Lavender is a beautiful oil. You just have to smell a few drops. Smell it. It straight away helps to relax you and make you feel good. That is one. The next thing I really would like everyone, children, everyone to do is keep a little book and call it a gratitude journal. And when you wake up in the morning, just say thank you for, you've got another day to start a day, to do something in that day. It's a wonderful thing. And like I always say, every morning or every evening, write 5 things down for what you are grateful for. Like even in this COVID time that are there, people are grumbling, I can't go to work, I can't do this, I can't do that. And look at the others, and say thank you. I have got this at least, which is so wonderful. So gratitude is something that is very important. And the other thing is being a big mindful, whatever you're doing, think about what you're doing. Like whatever it is, think about the food you're eating, think about what you're working, be aware of things. Take some deep breathing. Like I always tell people, take deep breathing and you will relax. Deep breathing, gratitude, I really find that helps a great deal. And of course, these are little props, the lavender and the other things. And some form motion. Like another thing is, if you are feeling depressed, I always say get up and move. By just even moving around, the house, you're going to find it takes away that thing, because that depression is for that moment. So these are little things that, easy to follow for anyone. And I feel they will help a lot. And I'm going to give you one little thing that I learned from a person. This person, I went to something and he said when he wakes up in the morning, he laughs for just 5 times. And he says, I just start my day and I'll just, by himself, and he'll just go on. And you try it, and after 2, you're going to start. And he goes like, so by the time you finish 5, you are really laughing. Everything is working. And he said, this is the best exercise. I thought that man was fantastic who told me this. And I told him I'm going to spread it around everywhere that I go.
Definitely, ma'am. Just by giving a two laugh, laughter is so
Yeah.
contagious. Even I was laughing. Even I was laughing for the matter of fact.
Yeah. So this is something, any of these. So these are something that if we can follow at least even one of these tips, they are going to, they're going to help us. And this is really going to help. But it is something that, of course, one thing we know is when a person is depressed, you can't say but we just have to get them out and move, go to them. You got to listen to them. That's the main thing. I think they need someone to listen to. That is what they need.
So, ma'am, you have a vast, astounding 35 years of experience and journey. So, has there been any moment that you felt like you were on the verge of breakdown, and except for the natural things and aromatherapy, what else did help you get out of that
Yeah.
moment?
Now, I was when I lost my husband. I think that was the time when I was really at the breakdown. I was saying, "Oh my God, there's no reason to live," and this and that. But really, what got me through is, I say, I said, God. God was, I always felt that God was there, and He would, if He brought me to this, He's going to take me out of this, whatever it is, because I feel you must have something to cling to. You must have something to cling to, because if you don't have something to cling to, some spirituality, you can call God, you can call it Shivji, you can call it Rama, you can call it anything, you can call it cosmic force, but you have to have that in you, and that is something that will take you through. That is a very, very important thing. That is
Definitely, ma'am.
something. And
Definitely.
I always believe whatever happens, it happens for a reason. And of course, at that time, you don't know what is the reason, but even later, you may not know, but you know that there is somebody there. Maybe there's not somebody around you, but there is someone in the universe. He has brought you to this. He's going to take you. He's going to take care of you. That has to be there. That is something.
So, ma'am, coming on to the next question, there are numerous campaigns and all the laws going for the women empowerment. What is exactly women empowerment to you? Not like being politically correct or anything, but what really women empowerment is to you, and what will you be suggesting to strengthen it on a very grassroots level?
That she should have the freedom to do what she wants to do. This is really what I feel, not politically or anything. She may not want to go to work, she may want to stay at home and look, but she should be there. She should do it with her own will, not be forced to do anything. She may want to do she want to do some work and bring it in. Also, another thing I feel is, a woman, if she can earn her own living or her own money, she brings in some money, she feels empowered. So that is another thing that is important. And whatever we can say anything to a woman, but if she doesn't want to be empowered, she is not going to be empowered. So it is all up to her and her mind. That is what I feel. And a woman is just, you should just give her that freedom to do what she wants, say what she wants. That is something that is important for a woman.
So I was saying, to be very honest, I've never come to a very crisp and small answer to this question that I have asked you right now. So, two PhDs, three books, and a vast 35 years of experience in aromatherapy and natural beauty products. So, what is your next goal? And would you like to share a blueprint, how you're going to achieve it?
My next goal, I've got so many goals. The next goal, of course, is to take this aroma magic to the next, we'll take it to the next level. That is definitely there. Take it all over. And skilling is another thing that I really would like to, skill. I would like to skill as many people as all over India. It's so vast. That is one. The other is the CSR that we are doing. We would love to take it further. Planting trees, we do tree planting, which is a great deal because I think the environment needs a lot of, trees. Then we do a lot of, apart from that, we are doing a lot of education for, the education, that's what I said, skilling for a whole lot of people and giving them jobs. Because if they can do something, they feel good, they can do a job from their own home or wherever it is. If a woman has a skill, she has the skill for life. And whatever happens to her, she has a skill at least, that is something that I believe that is very important. And so she's going to take the skilling. Then, of course, we also do a lot of cancer work for the cancer children. We have different foundations. So we do work for them a lot and, help them and do a lot of things for the cancer. So these are some things that we are doing for CSR. And I think we have other plans also to go further with the CSR, because now I think CSR will do a great deal of CSR because that's something we'll do. Aroma Magic is there, make more products, more wellness products. We're going to definitely more wellness products because that is something. And that is really what it's all about. I think so for the time being, but we'll go further. Definitely. Definitely. There is so much to do, and like I said, this line is such that I think we'll go on. But these are the three main things: the CSR, the skilling, and of course, going ahead with Aroma Magic.
Wow. So this brings me to the last question of the podcast, ma'am. What will be a couple of advices you would like to give to young people to have a happy life? Just go out there and express yourself.
No, to have a happy life. One thing is get up in the morning and say thank you for the day. The other thing, which even I do, I always say, I say something, thank you for blessing me, for blessing, the family, for blessing everything. So that there is this thank you and this blessing. And when you're blessing everything else, you are also, it's all going to come back to you. So that is one thing. I always tell them to say thank you. That is one very important thing, because, we may grumble at certain things, but if you look at others, they are even much worse. And that is definitely gratitude. Attitude of gratitude is going to get you really a lot of stuff, honestly. And like I must tell this little thing I used to tell everybody about. There was this bird in the desert. I don't know if you know this story. There was a little bird in a desert, and the bird was really dying practically. And an angel passed through the desert, and she was going on her way to God. So she said, what is wrong with you? Look at you. She says, oh, you're going to God, tell him to take me because, I just can't go on living like this. I have no food. I have no this. There's no water. There's no that. So she went and told God. God said, I can't do anything for her, but tell this little bird that every day to say thank you. Thank you. Anything that is not even good, say thank you for it. If they can't get water, okay, thank you, God, there is no water. Bless it. Maybe I'll get some water later. Just keep on saying thank you. So she went back and she told this bird. Bird said, okay. So then she went, the angel went away and did her own work. The angel was passing by again and saw this bird looking so good and the feathers up, and said, what did you do? She said, I just did what you said. Say thank you for everything. And everything started coming and everything started becoming good. So
Wow.
that is some bit really advice I say. Tell everyone to say thank you, an attitude of gratitude for whatever it is, and you'll find. Be positive. Just keep positive. Never say this is not working. This will work. Something is going to happen. So always be positive. Look on the positive side. In fact, if these are the two things they can follow, I think the things will work out very well for them.
Definitely, ma'am. So, this brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, ma'am, again for joining us and giving your valuable time. I guess people will get a lot of, positives and drawbacks from the podcast, and they will be implementing them in their life.
Thank you, Kunal. It was really nice, very nice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Really,
so
wish
much.
you all the best. Thank you.